Hey everyone, I am Dr. Keith True. I am a veterinarian, a MBA graduate, and an entrepreneur, and I'm here to launch off my first episode of True Vet Talks. In this episode, we're just going to have some casual conversation as to why did I choose veterinary school over medical school and what might be the best option for you. I just want to start off just a little bit about costs of medical school versus veterinary school. Medical school and veterinary school are both expensive when it comes down to it. Medical school can range from $200,000 to $400,000 in tuition fees, and veterinary school similarly can range from $200,000 to $300,000 roughly, and that's depending on where you go, what institution you go to, whether you're in state, whether you're out of state, and whether the school is private or not. But that can go for both medical school and veterinary school. But remember, those costs are just tuition. There are fees and other books and other associated fees that go along with both programs that can cause those numbers to go up. Medical school can be around $500,000 and sometimes even more depending on where you go. Veterinary school can go upwards to $350,000. Sometimes if you go to one of the foreign schools or the schools in the Caribbean, those costs can be higher too. And remember that is just the cost of veterinary school. Both pathways require an undergraduate degree or similar coursework if you do enter in early, but those are additional fees that you will incur that you will have to pay back in student loans unless you got scholarship money or anything along those lines, which brought your cost burden down. So we have to keep those numbers in mind. Also, the other factors that we need to take into consideration is the timeline for medical school and veterinary school. Both veterinary school and medical school are 4 years in duration. For medical school, afterwards, most people need to go and enter into a residency, which can range from 3 to 7 years. During that time as a resident, you're making less money, so you are not earning a full salary right upon graduation. Veterinary school, here's the kicker. You do not require a residency in order to practice medicine following graduation. So you can start earning money right after graduation and go right into the workforce treating patients after you've completed your licensure exam. So the opportunity to generate income and build wealth is immediate upon graduation. Starting salaries for human physicians tend to be higher than veterinarians, and that is going to be depending on which specialty you choose if you go down the human medicine route. For veterinarians, starting salaries can range between $80,000 to $120,000, $130,000 roughly, depending on where you go work, what part of the country, whether you're urban, suburban, or a rural veterinarian. So there are a lot of factors that can go into that. However, that, like I said before, that money starts to be earned right after graduation when you start working, which is going to increase your earning potential right off the bat, which is great. So I want to delve into a little bit of information of why I chose to go to veterinary school. There's a couple factors. I like to break it down to my childhood decision to go into veterinary school and my adult decision to go into veterinary school. My childhood decision to go into veterinary school, was based off of loving animals and wanting to help them and enjoying being in the presence of my dog growing up, and also seeing a family member who is a veterinarian go to work and speak highly of the profession. It's always stayed with me through this path. Now, I did face some significant health challenges in high school, and my focus did change. And then I saw my opportunity to be a change maker in the human medical field and make impact on other kids like me by operating as a human physician. Now, I would have still been probably very happy going down that path and being able to make an impact, but I shifted back once I got into college and started taking the same coursework. I shifted my passions back to my original plan, and I call this my adult decision to go into veterinary school. Well, I love science, I love animals, I love helping people. There's other things that I like to do with my professional career that I saw as an easier opportunity in the veterinary field than in the medical field. One is entrepreneurship. I love coming up with new ideas, new ways of solving problems, new businesses. All of these types of things I saw as a significantly easier to pursue in the veterinary field than in the medical field. I'm not saying that there are no entrepreneurs in the medical field. That's not true. But the pathway that I wanted to take in business and leadership, I saw as an easier thing to pursue in veterinary medicine compared to human medicine. Another opportunity that excited me about the veterinary field was the ability to go into practice ownership. And that is something that is still accessible in both the veterinary field and the human field. But there are a lot of regulations when it comes to opening practices in the medical field and having to deal with insurance companies and all of the red tape that goes along with that. Veterinary medicine, as long as you have the confidence, a good mentor, and the passion, you can open up a practice at any point during your career. That's going to allow you freedom. Freedom in the way that you treat your patients, the clients that you bring in and serve at your practice, and also the ability to grow that practice beyond just you as an individual veterinarian. It allows you to build teams, give people careers. It allows you to build other leaders within your facility, which could allow you to go and open more practices or scale back your time on the floor and be able to create that work-life balance because you do own the business. You are in control of it. That is something that I saw through my own mentors, but something that also it was very exciting to me to be able to pursue. Now, I am somebody who loves medicine, loves practicing medicine, but I also love building teams and building businesses and seeing those businesses succeed and serve the community and the pets of the owners that we serve. And that is something that I just saw an infinite growth potential within my field and got me very excited to then be able to take that post-graduation and put into action. And lastly, stemming off of practice ownership, as much as we in the medical field don't like to talk about finances, referencing our earlier talks about the debt that is incurred about going to veterinary school versus medical school, we have to talk about earning potential in both of those professions. One thing that caused me to consider veterinary school and also practice ownership as an avenue that I wanted to pursue was the ability in owning a practice and growing the value of that practice and my personal earning potential and wealth building potential by being a practice owner and utilizing that as an avenue to pay down my debt faster. When we talk about just salaries in the veterinary field and being able to pay down the debt, it does take a long time to pay down that debt unless you're doing it with an aggressive means. So I utilized practice ownership personally as a way to increase my income and being able to pay my student loans down faster. Where it can usually take 20 or more years to pay down a loan is on certain time frames, I was able to pay my student loans off in less than 5 years. And I think we need to have that conversation when we talk about going to medical school versus veterinary school. I was one who was told to not pursue veterinary medicine from financial advisors because of the loan burden that I would incur and the inability to pay that off. Obviously, I went down the path of veterinarian and I found ways that are not all that novel. It's just taking the jump into practice ownership and leadership positions that allow me to pay that loan down faster and attain financial freedom and the trajectory of the career that I wanted to build. In conclusion, I think that going to medical school and veterinary school are both excellent opportunities. But I also want to point out that some of you might be considering one or the other and might be swayed towards medical school based off of some of the reasons I mentioned before. But know that veterinary school is going to provide not just a satisfying career and something that you can make change, not just in animals' lives, but in people's lives, but also put you on the pathway and the ability to build a business, to build a legacy, and to have that unlimited earning potential that can help you pay down those loans fast. I hope this answers some of your questions. I hope you continue to stay tuned to future True Vet Talks that we will be sharing not just the balance between a veterinary student, a medical student, but also how you can grow your career through entrepreneurship and have a great career moving forward. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to sharing my knowledge and helping you grow as a veterinarian moving forward. Thank you. Hit like and subscribe to this channel if you found this helpful in pursuing your career in veterinary medicine, and drop a comment down below to leave any suggestions of questions that you might have moving forward. And I look forward to continuing the conversation.